Hey everyone, so for the longest time, I've used Canon T3i to make YouTube videos because that was the norm, mostly because it was affordable and the footage looked great. It took me from a virtual nobody into someone with an audience. I started this quest with a kit lens and incredibly high ISOs because that was the only way to get decent footage. Before the Canon T3i, I was using my Galaxy Nexus to record. And even though I recorded in 1080p, the autofocus was terrible. You can actually see the autofocus struggle with most of the videos that I shot using the phone. But at the time, I was not really focused on the quality, but rather on getting better with every video I made and simply focusing on the content as much as possible. Eventually, I upgraded to an iPhone 4S, which has a much better camera and better autofocus. And that sort of became my go-to camera for a while, and it really helped me improve my video quality overall. But before I upgraded to a better overall camera, I wanted to make a short film. However, I wasn't gonna film it with a phone because it didn't seem practical at the time. So I borrowed a Canon T3i and used it to film the short film, which is one of my most viewed films on my channel. However, when I watch it now, I see the imperfections, but it was a fun project to make. The edit was a huge challenge, and I learned a lot from it. I will link the video down below if you haven't yet watched it. And with some time, I ended up pulling the trigger on my very own Canon T3i, which truly helped my channel go to the next level. And that's when I started making more product reviews. Eventually, I bought my favorite lens of all time, the 50mm prime lens. You must understand that I was filming in low light for most of the time, which required really high ISOs, which meant lower quality overall. So finally having the ability to film at a lower aperture meant the quality went up overall. Now, a couple years later, after much consideration, I've decided to pull the trigger on the Sony A6500. And here's my reasoning behind it. The picture quality is absolutely incredible for the money, and it looks incredibly sharp as well. It also has 5-axis video stabilization, which is really incredible to have on a camera. It's not perfect, but it gets the job done. I'm not overly concerned with the overheating because I never shoot long enough to have it overheat. Besides, I've seen people use the camera for 30 minutes non-stop with no issue, and that's perfectly fine for my usage. And the terrible rolling shutter is not something that worries me because my filming style is never rapid or fast. And if I ever have such an issue, I can always try to fix it in post, but 99% of the time, I will not be moving my camera fast enough to have it be an issue. I also bought a 35mm 1.8 prime lens, which is what I'm currently using for most of my videos. It provides absolutely stunning, pristine quality footage at 1.8 aperture. Now, in terms of colors, at first I kept my color presets at default, but something didn't look right. So I kept playing around with presets, etc. But then I found this video, and I basically copied those presets on my camera. And the rest is history. I'm very happy with the colors. I only make small adjustments in post for certain situations, but for the most part, I keep the colors straight out of the camera. Anyways, I will link the video down below so you guys can check out his presets. It's truly awesome and really worth considering. I must say that 4K video is truly incredible. The amount of detail and the amount of data I have now is enormous. And that gives me a bit more flexibility, especially when it comes to color grading and making adjustments in post. Plus, the ability to pump those ISO numbers with relatively no drawbacks is excellent. I'm very happy with my purchase, and I won't be reviewing the Sony A6500 because I am no camera expert, and I think it's best to leave that up to the people who actually know the hardware. But for what I'm going to be using it for, I think it's the best camera I could have gotten for the money. The quality is truly unmatched for this price point. But I will say that you will need a ton of batteries to get this thing going because it eats them like nothing. Now, as the Canon T3i fades away, perhaps it will land on eBay, or who knows what I'll do with it. However, as I look into the future of my YouTube channel and the videos and content that I will be creating, I want to make clean, beautiful, but more importantly, content that I would want to watch myself. Filming and editing is an incredible pastime and a hobby that I do not see myself stopping anytime soon. And for that reason alone, I want to continue making content and hopefully you guys will continue watching. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like button. And as always, I'll catch you guys next time.